New Morning Joe Marist numbers show that when it comes to job creation or deficit reduction, more Americans are still focused on creating jobs. 64% of adults say Washington should focus on creating more jobs, while 33% say reducing the deficit should be the top priority for Congress and the White House. Let's bring in our Wednesday gaggle, Democratic strategist Steve McMahon, Republican pollster Kristen Soltis Anderson, and the Washington Post's Nia Malika Anderson. Well, I'm going to go to our pollster first.
Okay.
And make you have to defend our polling. No. This issue of the Republican messaging when it comes to the budget, Bobby Jindal's been critical of this, right? Of saying Republicans in Washington sound like bookkeepers. Seems as if the White House reads polls a lot better than House Republicans do.
I don't know that it's House Republicans aren't reading polls. In fact, I think take a look at how they did in the 2010 elections when the question was, where are the jobs? They got that this was the dynamic.
That was in 2010, right. But they don't, right, no, you just bring up the point. Where are they today?
Is still focused on that, but he's got a caucus that's really focused on, our debt's now over $16 trillion, and so there are a lot of important competing priorities. I do think it's a challenge to get everybody trying to focus on what's the number one issue. It is the economy.
Yeah, where are they today is actually a good question, because where are they today sort of applies to the Republican Party with respect to a wide range of issues, whether it's gay rights or women or even now talking about and sounding like accountants at a time when the American people are concerned about.
We're still got economic anxiety. Yes, the economy feels
listening. They're not hearing what the American people are saying, and that's one of the reasons that the president did so well. It's one of the reasons that Democrats won more votes in the House races and picked up seats both in the House and the Senate. Republicans have a tin ear.
Yeah, and they never were able, I think, to make a convincing argument as to how the deficit actually connects to people's lives and jobs.
The pocketbook lives, right. You feel the president is speaking to the average Joe and Jane.
Exactly, and Romney obviously wasn't, and that's what the polls showed. So they haven't been able to make that connection. What does it mean for the 12 million people who are unemployed? And Obama has been able to make a better case. But I think, he goes down to Miami, he talks about infrastructure investment. It's not going to happen. I mean, there's this, there's a logjam in Washington where people are just on different pages.
Now, we just put up another poll that showed who's better at dealing with the deficit, and it was essentially a split decision. You would hope that if Republicans talking about the debt enough that they would be at about where the president is, and it is almost right along party lines, 44-40. That's not surprising.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, that's typically the issue where Republicans do the best versus Democrats. But the question is, are they winning on that issue of jobs and the economy? I think the challenge is back in the 2012 election, Republicans were talking about, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? But that really wasn't the right question to be asking. And so now the challenge is to refight this economic battle that probably should have happened in the election about how are you going to create.
I am curious. It's a little early, I think, to sit here and say for sure what we think 2014. It's always some form of a pocketbook issue. I think it's possible healthcare implementation could end up being a top 5 issue at least in 2014. But what will the economic question be in 2014?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be, do people feel like, and this is actually true in almost any election cycle, do people feel like things are getting better or not? If they feel like things are getting better, they tend to give the president and the president's party more credit. If they feel like things are not getting better or aren't getting better fast enough, which is what happened in 2010, then the opposition party to the president usually does a little bit better. So, that's going to be the question here, but it seems to be favoring the president right now.
And that's what's interesting. In 2010, the public was impatient.
Yes.
Right? And they threw out the Democrats. In 2012, 2 years later, things not really that much better. They showed a lot of patience.
They showed patience, and I think the question is this the new normal? Are people sort of used to this stagnating economy? The sequestration, there was a big battle over that. It didn't really seem to move people. Maybe we'll see some effects from that going forward in terms of the unemployment rate, but people just
really smart point. Is this the new normal? I think Nia's got it. Nailed it.
It could be. And let's not forget the new normal of who votes in these midterms versus who doesn't. In general, that's the old normal. That's another normal. All right, trivia time. We asked who was the most recent sitting House freshman to be elected to the Senate.